More breaking news tonight. Any moment now, a California parole board is expected to announce their decision on whether or not to recommend parole for Lyle Menendez. He was convicted alongside his brother Erik of murdering their parents in 1989. Erik Menendez last night was denied parole. CNN's Nick Watt joins us with the latest. Nick, what do we know about the hearing?
Well, we know nothing about the hearing because they are keeping a very tight lid on it until a decision is made. Listen, this case has been a media circus from the beginning. They are keeping this as under wraps as they can. No decision yet. Last night, you mentioned on Erik, we heard at about 6:45 West Coast, 9:45 East Coast, so we're standing by. We tend to lump these two brothers together. They are, of course, individuals. They had different behavior before the crime. They had different roles in the crime, and they've had different prison records. So, listen, it was bad news for Lyle, of course, that Erik was denied parole yesterday, but that doesn't mean that today's hearing is a foregone conclusion. Boris?
Yeah, and Erik Menendez was denied parole last night, as we noted. Part of it had to do with his record while behind bars, a number of allegations of illicit activity. What more can you tell us about that and the reaction to the decision?
Well, the reaction from the family was disappointment. 18 family members spoke in support of Erik yesterday. Interesting in this case, of course, the family are the family of the victims and of the murderers. So they're disappointed. It was interesting. The commissioners yesterday talked about the crime itself and said particularly the murder of Kitty, of the mother, was, quote, devoid of human emotion. But the commissioners made it very clear it was the behavior in prison that led to the denial. Now, if they're both denied, it's not the end of the road. It's up to Governor Gavin Newsom in the end to decide whether they get out or not. They're also trying to get a retrial. They could also get clemency. So, not the end of the road, but we're standing by and we'll bring you the decision when we get it. Boris?
Nick Watt, thank you so much for keeping an eye on that. Stick around, though. We're coming back to you in just a bit. With us now to discuss the Menendez case, CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Elliot Williams rejoins us. Elliot, what do you imagine the board's decision is going to be?
I have a hard time, Boris, seeing how they separate the two brothers for the reasons that Nick laid out. Yes, they are different people. Yes, they behave differently in their time behind bars, but people regard them as a unit. And quite frankly, I think the different members of the parole board that are judging Lyle's case read the same newspapers as everybody else and are aware of what happened last night. So, look, it could happen because, again, they are distinct entities in the legal system, but I just have a hard time seeing it.
Yeah, there were allegations that Erik Menendez had illicit cell phones, that he had narcotics behind bars, that he was involved in altercations with other prisoners. I wonder if Lyle Menendez has a different track record than that. It doesn't seem like you think he's going to be treated differently, but in a few years, if they're up for parole again, I believe it's 3 years, would that criteria soften from the parole board's perspective?
Yes, of course, good behavior would soften things from the parole board's perspective. And to be clear, 3 years in California is not a long time. They could have given up to, I believe, 15. And so that was a bit of a signal from the parole board last night. One thing, though, is that they did seem to delve back into the details of the killing with Erik Menendez. And as we know well, Lyle was regarded as the mastermind of it and certainly had a vicious role in the killing of his parents, particularly his mother. And so if they revisit some of that in there tonight, that may count against him.
Elliot Williams, appreciate the point of view.